everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Nothing But the Game. Today it is myself and Evan. Welcome back, Evan.
Thank you.
We missed you last week, but you were having you were having the time of your life, huh?
Man, I was so disappointed that I'm thinking Vegas, they can handle they're used to crowds showing up. All of the NFL fans, anybody out there, congrats, you overloaded their system. They could not handle. I was trying not to look like a crazy person and enjoy the moment, but at the same time, I was like, I can't even receive any form of signal walking around. But the event itself was outstanding. It was fun, hot, but they had water stations everywhere, along with beer and areas, so everybody was well hydrated and loosey goosey.
Oh yeah, was it like
out there?
Was it like a 2-to-1 ratio of beers to water?
Yeah, every water stand that you saw, free water, bring your Camelback. You also had 2 full-blown, actual warehouses worth of beer and liquor, which of course, hey, and give them props on it. I was expecting Jerry World Cowboy levels on prices. Yeah. Not saying it was cheap, but it wasn't $20 for a bottle of for a 16-ounce bottle of beer. You see at a lot of sporting events now. But the event, once it got going, outstanding. Had a lot of entertainment, a lot of fun. The crowd, let me just say that the crowd that at least that I had gathered around, with people, intent on watching the draft and finding out all the news, with a little signal, the random person that gets it. I remember hearing the news that AJ Brown had been traded. Everyone just flocked behind this one guy who had the signal to find out the news.
Oh, man.
It was a unique experience. I'll say that.
Now, did you stay for the full 3 days, or?
We were there 3 days. I only went the first day to the actual draft. It's just because I actually brought my family. My wife was a trooper with the kiddos. I went around, I wish I had film footage. I have film footage of my son. My oldest son's 10, trying to kick a field goal. And they had it right. And we also did the 40-yard. I think we got published actually on the Las Vegas Journal review. My son and my 2 sons and I running, doing the 40-yard dash, and they have a little jump pit area you can jump into.
Yeah.
But I had done. I wish I told my wife, I was like, you got film of this, right? And she's like, oh, I thought you only wanted me to film Peyton, our son. I was like, are you kidding me? I no lie, straight up, they had it going on. How do you announce who you're for? I'm a Cowboys fan, so Evan with the Cowboys. And they give you 2 kicks. I kicked it from 30 yards straight through. And I was like, you know what? Bring it back a little bit. So went up there. They put it on the 40-yard mark. And when I tell you, kicked it straight through and hit the upper net area, and I was celebrating. And everybody was saying, good job. Maybe you should be actually on the Cowboys, because the kicking is sometimes very speculative.
Yeah.
I look at my wife. She's like, nope, didn't get it. My one moment, my one football moment. I've actually never kicked a football. I'm a soccer player. It's soccer my whole life. I was like, you know what? I can do this. Soccer, football,
that was the moment.
Let's do it. After that, I don't even remember the rest of the draft. I was so mad,
And with the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select.
I was hoping to be Mr. Irrelevant, honestly, after that demonstration. Yes, but
that's awesome, man. So
last, man.
Happy so may the 4th be with you.
Yes. I don't know if you can see it, but in this little background area, that white wallpaper, those are actual blueprint Star Wars battleship blueprint thingies.
Oh, really?
That we got decorated for my kid's bedroom. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So a lot of May 4th love going on over here.
Yeah.
I think we have a little bit of a marathon going on. We're going to watch some of the Clone Wars, not the movie, but the TV episodes of the
series, dude. It's much better than the movie. It's much better than the movie.
Oh yeah. That's why I had to preface that statement. How about you, man? I know I left you guys hanging during the draft. I was hoping to be in there providing some form of, on the ground coverage. But I know you guys were killing it. I know CJ's got his picks and draft knowledge down.
We were doing really, really good, and then it got so exciting and hard to like. It got hard to keep up with all the trades and stuff like that. So it was getting exciting, and it was like, who are they we just kept trying to guess who they were going to take. I mean, so for the record, we were 3.5. I would say it's 3.5 out of the 32. We did okay. There's a few guys, we had them going the right way. We had no idea that, the Saints were going to trade up to get, Olave. We had Skye Moore going to Kansas City. We just didn't realize that he was going to fall to the second round, right? I mean, when the wide receivers started going, they started going. Like, and who knows? But, they end up going with, Trent McDuffie in the first round. And I think that's tremendous for them. I really do. I am a little, I'm happy for them. They had a really good draft. But like all in all, I mean, it was fun. It was definitely a unique experience trying to stream the full 3.5 hours. There was no bathroom breaks.
Well, next time I'll plan on. Because I travel full time. I'll be in Kansas City for the next draft. I'll be there. I'll have like a full blown like Ghostbuster pack on with just antennas, so I can at least get out there and have a signal for you guys. Maybe I can get in the actual get up and people will actually move out of my way. Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, dude, I would love it.
The ghost of terrible drafts past is up here. I've got to.
Oh man.
Oh man.
So I guess
I think we have a show planned. I don't think it's just a random chit chat episode, but whenever we.
Well, you know how we roll here at Nothing But the Game.
Yeah.
We talk about
it's
nothing but the game.
Nothing and the game.
Yes. I mean, let's get into quick off top of your head, what was your initial reaction of the first round?
Man, yeah, sitting there in the first 10 picks, I was like, hey, this is almost going chalk, with a few exceptions and seeming like it was going to be a little bland. But man, that entire round, just overlooking it, seeing where teams went, it really further solidified in my mind what I thought of this quarterback class, first of all. And, full preface, everybody out here, my research is on the Devy Dynasty side of things, so I really emphasize on the offensive side. I apologize. I do know defensive players, but I will focus there. And it is, I was watching there, and I was not fully impressed with this, this quarterback class. Wide receiver class, obviously, is outstanding, have a lot of great talent. I think there's some high-end talent in the running back side. But I didn't think it was going to be, because you usually see this overreaction for quarterbacks or this need or try to reach up.
Right.
And it was almost like the NFL teams realized, man, I feel like the past 10 years we've reached on quarterback. We've reached on guys that aren't really worth it. What if we value other positions more? Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. I had a Tennessee fan right next to me, and he went ballistic once they traded AJ Brown. But we were talking about that same thing. I was like, man, I am so happy to see people not just reaching up for these quarterbacks, because I think there are a couple in here that have really good developmental talent, but I don't think there is any in here that are like must start day one plays. And so, and I was shocked, honestly. I really was shocked to see the entire NFL, all the scouting teams and everything kind of, reverberate those thoughts.
Hey, we actually got a comment. CJ, who is not with us today, but he's watching, he's tuning in. He says, "What's up, guys?" He's like, "What are your thoughts on the Tannehill comments about Willis as a mentor?"
I think it's. Well, let me go with you first. What are your thoughts?
I don't think Tannehill's wrong in his statement. I mean, no guy's gonna just sit here and let me step aside and let you take my job. Like Tannehill still has a lot to prove, and I don't think it was in a I don't think it was in a demeanor that it's being portrayed as. It was more or less a comment of like, well, if the guy's he's got to come to work, and if he's going to come to work and he's going to learn some stuff from me, like that's great, but he's like, I don't think it's my job to go out of the way and teach him, and what's being really misconstrued here is like, I don't think Tannehill's it's being it's being portrayed as he's not like a team guy here, but locker room stuff and mentoring, it's all and playing the position, they're totally two different things, man. Like you could be a good teammate, so, but it's the off-season fluff that they that's got to be put out there. So it is it is what it is. I don't look into it at all. I mean, I don't think Brett Favre was like, oh yeah, let me show Aaron Rodgers everything that I can, before I leave. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure there was reports of them butting heads half the time. Like, it is what it is. As much as it's a game, it's a business as well. So, I mean,
and it absolutely is, and I'm going to echo your sentiment there completely. And maybe even go a step further in saying that, and by no means is it his responsibility to do so. But at the same time, we're not supposed to sit back and be like, oh yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. If he's neglecting and ignoring and being like a hindrance to the team, then yeah, there's a line there,
right?
Which I don't think is the case by any means. You see a lot of paraphrasing. I think I saw on one of the popular publications. All they put was, it's not my responsibility to mentor, Willis. But the rest of the sentence is, but if he learns something along the way,
right,
then that's great for the team. That's wonderful. That is pretty much, that's just saying, hey, I'm not going to go out of my way to teach him and hold his hand.
Right.
He's a professional. He got drafted here. He needs to put in, if he puts in the work and it's listening with me, I can't stop him from being in the film room at the same time as I am.
Right.
I can't stop him from doing the same work and studying the playbook. If he's willing to do that and learn, and that goes with any position. I don't care what you are. If you're learning from that other person, that's exactly what it's about. And that's what, whenever they go through those interviews and in the combine and everything, they want to find out, hey, what is your work ethic? What are you willing to do? What if he went to a team that didn't have an experienced quarterback ahead of him? What if he went to a team that says, God forbid, had Mitch Trubisky as your starting quarterback? Are you now reliable, putting it on Mitch Trubisky to be your mentor?
Right.
No.
I mean,
yeah. So that is.
What if yeah, to your point, what if he was drafted by somebody like Drew Lock, who still has to prove himself? I mean, it's. What if he was drafted by nobody, by a team that didn't have a quarterback? Period. Like, who's going to mentor him now? Like, it's not any other player.
The quarterback coach.
Yes, the quarterback.
That's his job.
That is exactly, dude. That is the job. That is the quarterback's job. Whew, all right, I'm glad that we got that out.
And I will stick with that forever. Thank you, CJ, for putting that question out there, because I'll stick with it forever. I don't care who the player is, position is. If you're relying on the person that's preceding you, all right, well then you're possibly not going to make this. Not.
CJ says he agrees, but I think he put a target on his back with that comment.
Well, then perform. By putting a target on his back, then now he has to go actually and perform. If he doesn't, then
I think this comes with the whole hype of Malik Willis, though. I think the media put the target on Tannehill's back because of the hype that was, the talent with Malik Willis. It's all just. This is why we do this. This is why we do this show. Is because we bring logic to it and a perspective to it that's not just let's get the likes, let's get the clicks or whatever. Like, what can we do to get the clicks? Because it's. I'm serious though. Like, man.
Lord knows we're not getting the likes, but please subscribe
like,
and follow.
hey, check this out.
But I mean, it's also on the other side. Let's take the inverse side, the very neutral party. By Ryan Tannehill saying that, he also knows that the media is going to take that and misconstrue it and put it out there. In that moment, he has to know that you're a professional. So then he has to also know that this pressure is going to be put upon him by the media within the team. There may be something different, and be like, hey, we completely understand. Reach out to Malik Willis. There may be a great bond there. Who knows? But he has to understand, all right, well, now I'm going to have this pressure. So if I do underperform, the fans who just watch the media type stuff are going to possibly clamor for Malik Willis if I'm not performing to the level that we should be performing. You were the number one in your number one seed there. You didn't perform last year, so you already have a target on your back.
Yep. And then it's gonna, and then it just, it trickles down. Then the fan base is, calling for Willis, and then it's let's give him a start, and then it's, next thing you know, head coach is in a predicament next year, and his job is on the line. All of a sudden, he's on the hot seat. Like, it's such like, I hate that it's
as a Cowboys fan. I wish the media, and the fans have this pool, so many other markets make it seem like. Because if that was the case, we would have had a different general manager about 15, 20 years ago. I mean,
listen, man,
that's the honest truth.
You bring that up.
We have an amazing, I will say, we have a multiple awards winning, one of the best radio shows. I mean, I travel the country. I listen to radio stations all over the place. The Ticket in Dallas is just an outstanding radio show, sports radio, and they echo that sentiment. And if that media within that area would actually affected things, maybe things would change. But I just think that a lot of it is the dust in the wind. It's just kind of like, oh, we're annoyed, we're fed up, we're whatever. But in reality, it's just dust in the wind. What will actually, you hate repeating a Kansas song title over and over again. But in reality, what matters is, all right, who's making money? And as a Cowboys fan, they're always freaking number one, so money makers.
So
I'll get off my annoyed box there.
So before we kind of, your dust in the wind, the segue kind of into, that's how I feel these post-draft grades are really just, they're just that.
Oh yeah.
You have no idea.
Let's throw a couple speckles out there.
You have no idea how any of these teams are really going to pan out, and how well, they, what somebody does on paper is, versus what they're doing in real life. It's totally different. But I do have to comment on the whole Dallas Cowboy war room, Jerry Jones. Dude, that looked like some, Gothic cathedral. We're all sitting at the, can you pass me the gravy? And it's just, passing hand. It was just this big, unnecessary table. I don't know, man.
Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's bigger. Come on.
Was funny.
Egos, tables, everything.
So
I wish I could counter that with something actually that makes sense, but no, you're right.
I couldn't help it, man. When they zoomed, I was laughing. I said something on the stream last time, or during the draft too, about it. It was so funny. So talking about grades and getting into certain teams and needs, and so we are, you and I, we're going to kind of throw our own grades out there, but I think we're going to put a little, I think we're going to put a little twist on our grades based on, the logicalness behind it, like team building, right? We're always about team building and the proper way to build teams and etc. So the first team that I'm going to go after here is the Browns, right? So across the board, all the major news outlets, they're giving not did I say the Browns? I meant the Bears. I think I said the Bears. Did I say
The Bears.
The Bears. I meant to say the.
You said the Browns, which I was ready for that too potentially, but yeah.
I'm not ready for the Browns at all. I'm ready for the Bears. The Bears is what I want to cover. The Bears are what the Bears. I can't stop now, man.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Which taking this quote SNL wise is appropriate because they went full blown defense like in the old the Bears time.
Yeah, well, but that's where. So across the board, they're getting A's, A minuses. Sure, they drafted really talented players, but in terms of team building and in the future, right? Because I've said this now in the last few shows about teams not willing to play the long game, and here we are again. Is they're not. I mean, maybe they are willing to play the long. I don't know exactly what their thought process here, but for a team that, Evan, you still there? Yo, Evan. All right. I'm just going to keep going. For a team that had the most allowed sacks last year, and you had very little offensive line, or you did not address your offensive line as much as you should have in the offseason, your first 3 picks of the draft are defense, wide receiver. You did not take your first lineman until the 5th round. Now, I understand this is a deep class for linemen. It was, right? It was a deep class for linemen. Braxton Jones, Southern Utah State. But I just don't, I mean, here, pick 39. So you have Bernard Raymond. He's one of the top graded offensive tackles. He ends up going round 3 to the Colts. So in the 2nd round, when you're taking Kyler Gordon and then Jaquan Brisker, one of those could have been him because he didn't go until the 3rd round. He went to the 3rd round to the Colts. Like, you could have addressed what you were doing still, and you could have addressed that O-line a little bit sooner. And for that, and then, they do. They 5th round, they go tackle. 6th round, then they go Zach Thomas. So they go tackle, edge, guard, running back, center, guard. I mean, they address it, but they address it so late. You have prospects that were still available. And it was a confusing draft to me. I understand you don't have that much available in the top rounds, but this is such a deep class. And I just think that somebody is... Hey, you with us?
Can you hear me over there?
Oh, hey, what's up, man? Welcome back.
Man, I have no idea. I've literally heard you this entire time. I don't know why.
Oh, you heard?
I don't know if I disappeared.
Oh, yeah, you disappeared. You froze. Like, I didn't know if you were there. So I just kept going. I was rambling.
I have no idea.
I was rambling. I had no idea. But
yeah, even on my video side of things, I don't see you, but I hear you. So I was just like, I don't know if everything's still there, but I still see you and hear you.
That's cool.
So all right, let's figure this. So I'm 100% there with you with the Bears. It's you drafted your future last year. You got Fields. He's your future. You had Allen Robinson. You have Darnell Mooney, who I already loved going into whenever his rookie season. Now you're acting like Darnell Mooney is a star. He's not your number one guy.
No.
and you're relying on, unless you make some crazy moves, Darnell Mooney and David Montgomery. Which, hey, that sounds cool if you have them on a fantasy roster. But as a team, there's nothing to be excited about. You didn't even go out and get like any form of confident offensive line, or even I don't know, not even a tight end that could be a multi-pass, pass blocking option.
No.
Yeah. So it's I did miss a partial part of there. I don't know if you gave it a grade.
No, I didn't give it
on there.
But I was, I'm giving it like, I'll give it like a C plus maybe, just because you addressed a lot of depth, right? And you have a lot of depth. You have a lot of depth in there, sure. But you go and you get, Kyler Gordon and Saquon Brisker. Like, you were third in the league last year with yards allowed, right? Or, yeah, I think I'm saying that right. Like, third in the league with, or not yards allowed, the least amount of yards allowed, right? Like, your secondary was good. Your defense was good. Your defense is solid. And you're playing in a division that has, Detroit just went out and got another weapon for themselves, right? You have Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time MVP. Minnesota, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. Like, yes, sure, if you want to compete inside your division, yeah, you could address defense. But if your offense is not going to produce, defense does not win championships anymore. It doesn't. Defense is it's a stability, right? It's a leg. It's a leg to lean on when we need to. Sure. The Super Bowl, Cincinnati, the Rams defense showed up there at the end to shut that down. But if that goes a little bit further, you don't know exactly how it's, because the Bengals offense was productive. They were getting down the field. Like, offense is the new defense. You have to be able to score to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, X amount of 3-and-outs every game, the best defense in the world is not going to help you, man. It's not. So.
No.
So, yeah.
It's not. And
a C plus.
Yeah, for the sake of, brevity there, I fully agree with you. I have a C minus on my draft grade there.
We can meet in the middle. You want to meet in the middle?
You've got, you want to do it just a C?
Yeah, we'll give them a C.
Share a C together? All right. Really, you addressed some defensive depth. There is something there.
Gordon's probably going to be a starter for sure, but
yeah, you're not. But you didn't do what the team needed.
No, and this is what I'm talking about, team building. But go ahead. You had a team that you wanted to.
And before I do anything embarrassing to myself here, can y'all see? Because I still can't see anybody. Can you hear me and see me quite well?
I got you, man. I got you. Just don't do
Oh man,
don't pick your nose. Don't.
I'm sure y'all can hear the sniffling. I'm overcoming some. I'm over in the beautiful Palm Springs, California area, and I guess I don't agree with the Joshua trees around me. The allergies are not going well. So I'm going to go on the opposite side of things. I know we just gave kind of I just gave, and you kind of agreed there with the Bears. I'm going with Carolina. And I really liked, honestly, their draft. There's a lot there that, between just really reinforcing by the quarterback drop happening and everybody just falling back. I feel like they may have been a chain reaction in that, because if they actually did take a quarterback at that point, we could have seen this accelerate a little bit more. We could, then Pittsburgh takes some, maybe Malik Willis. Maybe they take somebody else, and then there's this chain reaction that happens. Carolina, to me, was a very big linchpin in this entire build of the quarterback fall or holding where it is. And then taking Akeem Ekwonu was honestly very smart on my end. We had them projected out with our draft grades as them taking Kenny Pickett, but that's what we thought they would do. I really didn't think they should take him. And then the addition of Matt Corral on top of that was just. I have him. If anybody follows us on Twitter, posting my grades, I have him as my number 3 quarterback. Really, it's kind of a 2 or 3 tandem, and I love his ability. He's going to be able to go in there, and he's better than what Sam Darnold has. He's better than what Cam Newton not was, but has.
Right.
And he's just. He's a gamer. I'm sure you've heard that so many times through any other shows, but he really is. He's got this competitive ability. He's got something about him. He has a flair. I had him go. We had him going to Seattle because I felt like he would be an amazing fit there because he has the legs. He doesn't use it as much. I mean, really, he did out in Mississippi, but he doesn't resort to it.
Right.
And the weapons that he has there are set up for success. I don't think he's going to go in there and be a starter right off the bat. I don't think he's going to win it in spring training camp. But what they did by adding an offensive line, then they go in and add with the Penn State guy. Why am I drawing a blank? Linebacker. Brandon
Smith.
Thank you. Wow, brain fart. Brandon Smith. I really actually like that pick because their defense is already solid. I love their defense.
Yep.
And just that addition in there, I know just to keep for short on time here, that addition really, really emphasizes like, hey, let's address our needs and then let's add some potential depth / future value. And I really liked what they did. So overall, I actually give them a grade of A because their top 2 picks, they didn't have a second round pick, so they had that 3rd round. But for what they had, value-wise, I put an A on it. And they addressed team need as opposed to the Bears.
I absolutely 100% agree with you. I am low-key, like, Carolina Panthers fan. I love the Matt Corral pick to him. I was almost jumping through my skin. I mean, in our group chat, you saw it. Like, I was so excited that he went there just because of he is a gamer and the amount of talent that they have on that offense. I mean, they have guys that are completely untapped yet. Like you have not seen.
Oh, yeah.
You have seen glimpses of DJ Moore, and DJ Moore is, I think, even better than what we've seen of him so far. Terrence Marshall Jr., Robbie Anderson, McCaffrey. I mean, hopefully
Chuba Hubbard.
Yes. Well, so this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm hoping with the production that you got out of Chuba Hubbard, you could bring down, the workload for McCaffrey this year. Because I mean, clearly his body cannot handle the workload anymore. But McCaffrey's still super dynamic. And then, yes, to your point, like adding, Ekwonu just solidifies the difference between him going to Seattle, where he probably would have had to use his legs more, to this, here where he's not going to. Sure, Sam Darnold's going to start the year. They exercised his fifth year option in that trade last year. It was an automatic exercise. Like, they're going to see what they have in him. But this guy, I'm telling you, man, out of any
and to address that, what you said, none of the quarterbacks in this draft class, personally, need to be starting right off the bat.
No.
They all would benefit from a year behind, watching, sitting. And I'm not saying that, watching Sam Darnold is anything outstanding, but just learning the system, being around professionals. Kenny Pickett is not going to have that benefit, but any of the other quarterbacks are. And yeah, I think it is a perfect fit for him.
There's there's two quarterbacks in this whole draft class that I think that are going to come out on top. That will be either starting for the teams that drafted them, next year or by the end of this year. But yes, so to grade them, I agree with you. I'm giving them an A. I thought they had a great draft, and taking Iquanu there at the 6 really set the tone for the rest of the first round, because nobody else was going quarterback. Nobody else was going quarterback until Pittsburgh did, and then it benefited Pittsburgh too. Pittsburgh didn't have to trade up to go get anybody then. That was their guy. Kenny Pickett was their guy. It's clear as day that was their guy, and he fell right to him. So the next team, because we're short on time here, and I just want to cover it. I think people really need to pay attention to what the Denver Broncos did. And there's two guys that they drafted with their, the 32nd overall or the 64th overall, I'm sorry, in the 80th overall. So their second round and third round. Nicky Benito and Greg Dolce is, I think, if you're dynasty fantasy football wise, even fantasy football, they traded Noah Fant in the Russell Wilson trade.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy. Go get him. I think he's going to be low key a really good target for Russell Wilson. And it's actually, I don't know. I take that back now. There's a lot of targets over there. He might not be as productive as I don't know. I really like him though. I like
maybe a nice stash and grab.
What's that?
You may be like a nice stash and grab and stash, whatever you want to call it.
It's I'm starting to think now they retained Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. Yeah, okay, so maybe
Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, Portland Sutton.
You're right.
No, hey, and I think they also already have a tight end on hand that's very capable. Almost kind of the same guys.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be, hey, who can win the job? Really.
But Russell Wilson, I didn't want to jump on the hype train there with the Russell Wilson trade, but I don't know, man. I think the AFC West should really watch out for Denver. I think Denver low-key could sneak in there and kick some butt. I really do.
I would love to see it.
Oh, me too.
Because of all those teams, Broncos are, with some of the players they have, they're kind of like my divisional fan. I'm a divisional fan of theirs.
Yeah. Is there?
Yeah, what would you say like on that value wise, or the draft? I guess grade wise.
Well, I give them like a B plus. They addressed a lot of needs in depth, right? So depth is everything in this league, right?
Yep.
The league is faster. Depth is everything. Depth on your roster is more valuable than 11 superstars on one side of the ball. It really is, in my opinion.
It is, and I agree with you. I put a B rating on it. I know we're revealing these live, but it is a B rating. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to jump right into my next one. I've got Kansas City, the Chiefs, and this may be a running theme that I have on here. I went with more of the positivity. Picked all the teams that I liked their drafts. Trip McDuffie is, to me, that is an outstanding pick. And then you possibly got one of the best values, personally, with George Karlaftis, whatever you want to call it. The edge from Purdue.
Yes, the edge from Purdue.
He was, yes, I'm butchering this. He really is. That is an outstanding pick at 30. You're getting, you're going in there. You kind of make this move, get Trent McDuffie, and then you get George, edge from Purdue. Avoid that last name completely. And I'm going to say Karlaftis. Karlaftis. There we go. Nailed it. Greek.
It is Greek. He is.
But then you follow it up with the next, like, to me, honestly, whenever I was rating out my wide receivers, Skye Moore is an outstanding talent. The addition of him minus Tariq Hill just skyrockets his value, dynasty-wise. I loved him coming into us, and now he needs some work on his I want to say like on the route running side of things. I don't know if it was his route running tree, what his knowledge was, or it was just utilized out at Western Michigan.
Western Michigan.
I'll say Kentucky. Western Michigan. Watching film, you don't know if it's really the tree that was being used or his ability, but he has, with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, he's got this draft ability now. He's skyrocketing up mock drafts, but that's not what adds on to it. With honestly, I really liked Brian Cook, who they added at safety for Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them an A. I loved what they had done, and between George Karlaftis and Skye Moore, those are my two favorite picks. But really, making that move for Trent McDuffie is also. I had him as my number 3 tight end. So I mean, not tight end. Wow, cornerback.
It's okay.
Let's let the bloopers happen already.
You're sitting
if I can't see you guys, I get lost.
Yeah.
If you can see me, there's a lot of hand gestures happening.
You're sitting here grading your favorite teams.
Trent McDuffie was a.
And I'm picking apart teams. Like we're like playing good cop.
Ooh, we got to do the good cop, bad cop.
Yes.
Yeah, man, we're on the same level. Cheers.
Oh,
I don't think you have a drink, but whatever.
Oh, cheers.
There, bam. So yeah, that's what I have there, and we can move on to your number 3 team.
And your comment about Skye Moore and his route running, though, I mean, like 70% of Kansas City's offensive success comes on improvisation. So it's just a matter of him getting on the same level with Pat Mahomes. That's much what Tyreek Hill was. Like it was get the ball, get the ball to Tyreek. It was like that. So
yeah. And he doesn't have that freakish speed, but he has this. He's going to have this trustability. Maybe throw this out there, Kelsey. In the fading years of his career, maybe Skye Moore could be this new safety blanket. I don't see him being a number 1 wide receiver, but I see him being a Mahomes trusted colleague.
Absolutely. So next team on my list is actually the Washington Commanders. In this draft, I did. I know.
Sorry, draft still stuck in my head here. Everybody,
so,
yeah.
I mean, right off the bat, like I gave them like an A+, dude. I loved their draft. They addressed so many needs. Jahan Dotson. We had Drake London going to him. Drake London was the first wide receiver off the board. Jahan Dotson is going to absolutely complement Terry McLaurin. I think it's a perfect setup. Vidarian Mathis, Alabama defensive tackle, right? Like just they lost. Oh my goodness gracious, Tim. They lost depth on their defensive line. I'm just like you right now. I'm just totally blowing it, dude.
And on the contrary side, though, I can't help you because I am a fantasy guy, so I only know offensive players.
Tim Settle. Tim Settle is who I was. They lost Tim. They lost Tim Settle into free agency, and they
went to Buffalo, correct?
He did. He went to Buffalo. That's why I'm kind of like mad that I like
nailed it.
Brian Robinson brings more depth to the running back room, special teams. And then my favorite pick, and I'm going to kind of turn this into dynasty plays. I love Sam Howell to Washington. I really do. Sam Howell he's one of those, he fell and his production and his draft stock, all that stuff fell because of the amount of talent and the amount of production that UNC was putting out this year versus, Sam Howell was a projected, first round, second round pick last year if he would have came out for the draft. You know what I mean? So it's, and then for him to fall down, and then, I think it's, I think it's great. Like, I don't think Carson Wentz is the answer. I don't think Carson Wentz is the answer there.
No.
I honestly, I think I could go into a whole Carson Wentz rant here. I think the demise and the fall of Carson Wentz simply comes down to the way that he was mismanaged in Philadelphia. That will tear down anybody's spirit, and I think that's exactly what that is. I think that's what the result of it is here. Letting Doug Peterson go, all that stuff. I just not a big fan of it. Not a big fan of how it all played out for him, and unfortunately, he becomes the victim in the situation. But Sam Howell, dude, I think it is a extremely, extremely good pick for Washington, and I like them, and they have the defense. Like, they were supposed to have a defense last year that was, just unstoppable, right? And they were
on paper,
right?
Outstanding.
And maybe they turn it around this year, and I want to bet that they do. You have a defense to support it. You have strong run game. You have talent at the wide receiver position now. Like, this, as much, as much as a black eye, or as many black eyes as this organization can get in the media lately, this is a really good draft for them, and you can almost kind of see their entire future, developing. If I had a crystal ball here, I see the future of this franchise, dude, and he is there, and he's the guy taking the snaps, and. I don't know if you've really started any dynasty drafts yet or anything, but where is he?
Whoa!
I don't know. You're like
hold on a second. I don't even. Yeah, between Devy and Dynasty here, I'm a little bit overwhelmed at this point with the drafts, but it is on Sam Howell's side. It is very mixed. You have just different teams, different leagues, how they value, most of which are super flex, so quarterbacks hold that value higher. But it's really just how how they see it. Having that 5th round tag on you does diminish your value. But on my side, I viewed him as a top 3 quarterback. Him, Matt Corral, and Kenny Pickett, to me, were the best quarterbacks in this draft.
Yeah.
And it does hit. With that being said, all these quarterbacks to me don't need to be starting their first year.
No.
So falling behind Carson Wentz could be a blessing in disguise. To expedite it a little bit, I had the Commanders. I know you had a higher rating on them. I had a B- solely because of the Jahan Dotson pick. I like Jahan Dotson, but I don't love him. And I think that there were better players available at that time. I like what he brings, but like the Brian Robinson pick, Sam Howell pick, and then honestly, what you had mentioned, the Mathis Alabama pick, those are really good additions to make it that B-. It's contemplating B-, B range on my grading here. But Sam Howell, it's himself, is a 2-year, even when he gets a start in a year, possibly, I don't think you're going to see, this really great development right off the bat. It's just how they're going to utilize him, but he has the skills, the ability, rushing ability and everything. You saw how they handled Taylor Heineke, with his legs. Sam Howell's so much better at that.
Yeah.
And he has got he's able to build this connection with his wide receivers and actually get this timing down better than Heineke could. So I think in 3 years you'll see Howell start moving up this range. The first year it's definitely a value pick on the Devi Dynasty side of things.
Yeah. CJ actually is chiming in right now. He had Sam Howell as his number 1 quarterback, and he says he loves Sam Howell. That's
Woo!
cute. That's cute, man. CJ, we miss you, buddy. We wish you were here tonight, dude.
Hey, and CJ, I echo those sentiments a little bit there. I had him in one of my big Devi leagues. I've had him for about 2 years now, so I've been hoping, and I really think he's going to pan out. I really do. It's just, hey, once you have that 5th round draft value on you, it does become an uphill battle, but I think you can prove yourself. Absolutely. I know. Shoot, we are beyond time here. Let's go ahead and go.
We're cruising tonight.
Man, let's hit. So the next team I have on my board is Detroit. Listen to us. You know that at least I know Fitz. Honestly, we love Detroit to be this up and coming team.
This is Lion Blue right here. Okay, this is Lion Blue.
Man, I don't have anything of those shades, but man, they benefit from the Jaguars, which I would love to see the Jaguars prosper. I would love to. I do not like that Trayvon Walker pick. Aiden Hutchinson falling to them is just a godsend. Yep. That is, you already had a defense who I thought was underrated, and now you're adding Aiden Hutchinson, essentially a local guy coming in here. You're going to have this just like, he's just going to come in. I really think they're going to be able to utilize. And then, so you get the number 1 edge rusher. And in my opinion, you got the number 1 wide receiver. Jameson Williams is the number 1 wide receiver coming out of this class.
Yes.
Injuries prohibited, all these different things. Skills-wise, he's going to be outstanding. And pair him with Amon-Ra St. Brown is, I'm excited. I am even more excited for them. It sounds counterintuitive here. I want them to do worse than I think they're going to do, because I would love for them to snag another quarterback in the next draft. That's counterintuitive. I think they're going to outstanding. Jared Goff is a manager. I think if he can't perform with what he has on here with Swift, with Jameis Williams, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Hawkinson, honestly, Josh Reynolds, yeah, you don't have any reason. So he's either going to prove himself, or it's clearly, hey, let's get another guy in here. And, to our rankings and our opinions aside, hopefully they'll get better through that route. But with what they've done around him right now, I don't see any knockdown. In addition, they added another edge. The guy from Kentucky, Josh, I believe Pascal, but their defensive line, I think, is going to be just give it another. Yeah, next year is going to be outstanding and fierce, but give it another year, man. I am excited to see what's going on, and they will be giving Aaron Rodgers a hell of a time through the extension of his contract. I really think that we could be seeing a changing of the guard.
Yes,
with Detroit moving. I'm not saying making that move above Green Bay this year, but you're going to see this creep happening, and yeah, I'm excited. So I gave him an A.
Yeah,
to get the end of that, so we can move on.
CJ asks, so we've broken down a few teams here, but he's asking like, what's your favorite draft? Like, what team had your favorite draft? And I mean, mine is, I'm gonna agree with you 100%. I think the Detroit Lions had the best draft. I love what they did. I love the move from 32 to 18, dude. I loved it. Absolutely.
The aggressiveness.
The 12. I'm sorry, not 18.
I could not predict that.
No, not at all. I I couldn't understand what Minnesota was doing because in Minnesota just kept trading back, man. They just kept trading back.
Man, yeah, and that's a separate time, separate things.
Yes.
But I really thought they would try to take Kyle Hamilton in that range. Baltimore jumped on that ability, but yeah, I really thought the moving back was kind of weird, especially with a divisional,
Yes,
team.
that was the other
That
thing.
threw me off a little bit.
We were talking about that on the show. Like, I
Don't
couldn't
let
believe
them get, unless they on their end are like low on Jameson Williams, and they're like, yes, take him, please take him.
Right.
But in reality, in like a year or two, I think they're gonna be like, all right, we have made a very terrible decision.
Yes.
Milk was a bad choice. Like, oh man.
CJ comments he says his best draft for him were the Ravens top skill players. Like,
man, Kyle Hamilton was a freaking steal.
Oh, dude, it was the steal of the draft.
Are we deviating away from? Man, yeah, I know we're so low on time, dude. I could go. Never mind. I don't want to go off on Baltimore.
I know. Well, we got a few minutes left here. I was gonna say, do you want to dive super deep into Dynasty and Devi next week? Then we kick off the whole show.
Yeah, let's do that next week. We'll hit up. I've got a few guys here to hit up on the Dynasty Devi side, or Dynasty side, not Devi.
Yes.
On the rookie drafts and values. So let's definitely do that next week and finish up our grades.
I want to do the same because there's a few guys like Evan. I know you had Kenneth Walker as like your number one back coming out.
Yeah,
but I don't like the situation for him in Seattle. Like
definitely subscribe to us because I'll be posting the post-draft rankings, and there may be a little bit of fluctuation.
Okay, all right. Do you guys hear that? Everybody, check that out. All right. So that's actually gonna wrap us up for the night. Evan, you want to go ahead and close this out, dude?
Hey, please, follow us on Twitter at NBTG_podcast. And follow us. We're posting nonstop. Fitz is a magician with all of his posts there. And we'll be posting rankings. Any post-draft rankings we have, we'll put on there. Obviously, we'll discuss those on the podcast itself. Follow us on YouTube at Nothing But The Game. But I really appreciate anybody listening right now. Seriously, thank you so much. I know we've been getting at this for a little bit, but hopefully we're providing better and more entertaining content for you guys, because I know we have a lot more to come, and we'll be going through this entire, if you want to call it, dead season of the NFL time frame.
It's not going to be dead for us.
No, it's not dead.
No,
man. We're going to be nonstop every week. This is what we live, breathe, the blood inside of us. This is what it's all about. So we're here for you guys, and we love the engagement. As CJ seemed to have dominated the comments there, we love to have other people in here so we can drown him out when we do have a week without him. I'm sorry. I couldn't say that with a straight face. I love you, CJ. I was just trying to be sarcastic.
CJ hits us up in the comments. He says, love you guys. Follow us at Nothing But The Game. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we will catch us here next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Twitter, YouTube. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.